class, welcome back. We are doing lesson 12 for phonics, so let's get busy. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, let's get rid of our bars. All right, and get us in present mode. So lesson 12 for phonics. So our learning targets, I can identify the spellings for the past tense marker ED. I can read words with the different spellings for the D sound, and I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story Jack's Tale. So past tense marker, let's review. The past tense marker ED makes three different sounds. We have ed, d, and t. So let's dance. We're going to rap a song to the different sounds of the past tense marker ED. Ooh. So here's our song lyrics. T, d, ud, t, d, ud, past tense marker, spelled ED, spelled ED. Getting better, I think. All right, so our sound review. Let's review the D sound as in dot. D, dot. D, dot. D, dot. Great job. Notice that power bar there. It's a long one, so it's almost side to side. So that is a very common spelling that we will see. D. So remember, the D sound and T sound are very similar. They are sister sounds. T is voiceless and D makes our voice box vibrate. D. Did you feel it? D. T. It's a different sound, isn't it? So I'm going to read some words that begin with the T sound. Raise one finger when you hear the D sound and two fingers when you hear the T sound. So one for D, two for T. All right, so let me find my list here. Here we go. Are you ready? Tape, tape. Hope you hung up two fingers. What about the next one? Dip, dip. Good. Ditch, ditch. What about tuck, tuck? Duck, duck. Drill, drill. Tin, tin. Dark, taste, taste. And dim, dim. Great job. Boy, you guys flew through that. You all were awesome. So remember, we have D as in dot, D as in add, and field as in ED. So we have D, DD, and ED with the D sound. Notice that power bar with the double Ds, there's hardly a power bar there. But then ED, it's just a little bit bigger. The biggest one is just the regular D. So that has the D as in dot. We have duck and mad, like the double D, like add and matter. Then we have ED like field, planned, trimmed. Good job. So let's look at our worksheet 12.1, our word sort. So guess what we're doing? We are sorting some words by the spelling for D. Notice we have D spelled with one D. We have D spelled with two Ds. And we have D spelled with ED. Now, I'm going to do the first three. Down. Notice it has one D, so it's going to go under the one D sound. Then we've got the word trimmed. It ends with ED, so it's going to go all the way over here under the ED marker. Then we've got the word odd. It's got two Ds, so guess where it's going to go? Under the two Ds. Great job. So that means you have 9 words that you have to put somewhere now, okay? So make sure you do that. Now, Look at the spelling pattern here. We've got the root words, we've got the ER word and the EST word. Remember the spelling pattern. If it's a short vowel, double that consonant. So look at sad. Sad, you're going to double that D and add ER to make sadder. And you're going to do the same thing with EST. Keep that D doubled and add EST. But remember, if you have that extra letter in there, you don't double that last letter. Okay? All right. So finish filling that sheet out. Let's go back. Let me get rid of this bar again to our video. And there are the words that we were just working on. I'm not going to do any more of those. That is yours. But we are going to read a new story today. It's called Jack's Tail. Wonder what a tail is. Oh, there we go. Read this word, tail. What do you think that word means, tail? Well, a tale is a story. It is another word for a story. Sometimes when people go camping, they like to tell tales or entertaining stories at nighttime. So today's story is a tale Jack shares with Nan, Kate, and Max when they are sitting around after dinner. And I bet they're sitting by a campfire too. So here's some let's preview some spellings. All right. We have the word spelled with a J sound, spelled with a G, like ginger, legend, age, and gents. We have the ow as in shout and outlaw. We have our consonant doublings like letter, robbing, tipped, and pass. And our tricky words are who, stagecoach, and wood. Now, look at this. We've got some compound words here. We have the word outlaw, similar to a robber. If you notice that, he's dressed out in dark clothes and is carrying money. We've got a compound word also of stagecoach, and it is a carriage pulled by some horses, and there is a driver on it. Okay? Now, if you notice in coach, the OA is underlined there because it has the O sound as in home, coach, home. All right? All right, so let's preview some vocabulary for Jack's Tail. We have ginger snaps, and ginger snaps are cookies made from ginger. Then we have drawn. That means it's pulled, like the horses are pulling the carriage. We have an outlaw, people living outside the law, meaning they don't follow the laws. We have strong box. That's a box where things are kept to be locked up and kept safe. We have a top hat. That's a tall hat normally worn for special occasions. We have sharp dresser, a person who wears stylish and fashionable clothing. Tipped his hat means to lift or tip a hat as a polite greeting. Let me move my picture here. Gents is short for gentleman. We also have nabbed. Nabbed means caught. Did his time is stayed in jail. And then let him back out means he got out of jail. So we're going to read to find out more about Jack's Tale about outlaws. All right, so let's go to our story. Let me hide this again. Jack's Tale. After dinner, we munched on some ginger snaps. Remember their? Then Jack shared an outlaw tale. This happened out here in the West a long time back, said Jack, in an age when there were no cars and no planes. Back then, if you had to send a letter, you sent it by stagecoach. The stagecoach was sort of like a car, but it was drawn by horses. There was a place where men could sit inside, but the man who drove the stagecoach sat outside up on top. The man who drove the stagecoach kept the strong box next to him. Now remember, the strong's box was a locked box where he kept cash. Sometimes outlaws would rob the stagecoach. Those outlaws were bad men, but there was one who some said was a bit better than the rest, and his name was Bart. Bart was a sharp dresser. He did his robbing in a jacket and a black top hat. He had the best manners you ever saw, and when he robbed, he did not tell you and shout at the men he was robbing. Not Bart. He tipped his hat. Then he said, "Excuse me, gents, would you be so fine as to pass down that strong box with the cash in it?" "No," said Nan. "Yes," said Jack. "It's not just a legend, it's a fact. You can look it up." "Did they catch him?" Max asked. "Nope," said Jack. "He came back and robbed the stagecoach lots of times." "Did they ever catch him?" I asked. "Yes, after a long hunt, they nabbed him. They charged him with theft and locked him up for a long time. He did his time, then they let him back out." "Then what happened?" I asked. Jack said Bart shaped up in the end when they let him out. He said he was finished with crime. "Well, that's cool," said Max. Okay. So, I guess we should go on over to our worksheet. Let's go on over there. Jack's tale. What did Jack do after dinner? Did Jack go to bed after dinner? Jack shared a table after dinner, or Jack went home after dinner? Pick your answer, but don't write the page number. Who was Bart? Bart was a robber who took horses, Bart was a robber who took cars, or Bart was a robber who robbed the stagecoach. Pick your answer. Number 3, what sort of manners did Bart have? Bart had bad manners, Bart had so-so manners, or Bart had good manners? Pick your answer. And number 4, it wants to know what a strong box is. I told you about that, okay? And it was in our story also. And number 5, what happened to Bart after he was nabbed? What happened to him? And that was in our story also. Okay. So let's go back here. All right. So who was the narrator or the person telling this story that we just read? It was Jack, wasn't it? Yeah, Nan's friend. How were the letters sent from one person to another delivered in Jack's tale? They were put on the stagecoach, weren't they? Yeah. What is a stagecoach? Remember, the stagecoach is like a carriage and it's pulled by horses and there's a driver that sits on top that guides it. Have you ever read any other stories that include a stagecoach? Oh, I have. I've even watched TV shows that have people that ride stagecoaches, like Westerns. Yes. What was kept in the strong box? Remember, the strong box is where they kept the cash, right? Important things. 5, why did Jack say that Bart was a bit better than other outlaws? Because he had manners. He would tip his hat, right? Yes. Whatever happened to Bart? He did get nabbed. He had to be put in jail and he stayed there a long time, but they let him out, right? Yes. He got out and he didn't have to do time again because he stopped robbing. So looking at 12.3, if we go over here and 12.3, these are words with like ch spelled with ch and then the tch, and then we have the j as in jump, germ, and large. So you've got J, G, and GE for the J sound. So these are words that you just need to practice reading, okay? Don't have to do anything with them. You just practice reading them, all right? Okay, so let's go back. Let me hide our bar again and get back into our slides. All right, so our learning targets, I can identify the spellings for the past tense marker, ed. I can read words with the different spellings for the duh sound, and I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story Jack's Tale. All right, my friends, that is the end of our lesson, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye, friends.